Welcome to the next episode of the Be Ready Utah PrepCast. I'm Wade Mathews, the Be Ready Utah manager for the Division of Emergency Management. Joining me today are Jeff Johnson and Bryan Stinson, also with the Division of Emergency Management, two of our emergency preparedness experts. So thank you for joining us today. And our theme today is food storage, and this is going to be in two parts, a part one and part two, so look for both of those. Just a quick reminder, last month we talked about water storage, so if you missed that, go to our YouTube channel or Facebook page and look up our water storage episodes. So we're going to jump right into this. We're going to talk about food storage and long-term food storage in this part, but nutrition, why is this important?
You're going to get hungry if you don't have food to eat.
Yeah.
If you don't have food to eat, you're going to get hungry, and if you go long enough, you're going to get sick and weak. And so this is really critical to your survival. It's very critical.
For your disaster supply kits, I mean, you don't have to worry about having all the proper nutrition and everything. For a few days, maybe up to a week, you're concerned about just calories. You need to have calories to maintain your energy. You've got to have calories to maintain your body's temperature. Anything longer than that, yeah, you've got to start having nutrition. You've got to have balanced nutrition to maintain your body's normal systems and keep you healthy.
And realize that you need about 2,000 calories a day to stay healthy long term.
For a man.
For a man, 1,800 for a woman. But if you drop to 1,000 calories a day, you're going to start losing weight, 2 to 5 pounds a week. You can live on 500 calories a day for up to 30 days or longer, but you're going to get weak and sick. So your target here is to keep yourself close to 2,000 calories a day.
Okay, so we know nutrition is important. We can't live without it. All right, so the long-term food storage, the things that we probably all think about the most when we think about, I have to have that food storage, the wheat and the rice and the sugar and so on, but let's break it down a little bit. What are we talking about with long-term food storage?
Well, I think a lot of people are intimidated by, oh no, food storage, I've got to have 1,000 pounds of wheat or something. It doesn't really have to be that complex. Your long-term food storage, yeah, it's those things that will last a long time, that you can store it like we talked about last month with water storage, cool, dark, and dry. It's the same thing you want to do with your long-term food storage, whether it's the wheat, the rice, all those kinds of things. This is where we're talking about balanced nutrition. Find those things that do have a long shelf life that you can put on the shelf that you like, so that you can use them.
And we are talking about having bags or barrels of wheat and rice, sugar,
Beans.
Salt, beans,
Legumes.
yes, and we can kind of break that down a little bit into different types of that storage. So that's dried food that will last years and years and years, decades even. Really, we're talking about wheat that's been found in Egyptian pyramids, thousands of years old. But there's the freeze-dried, dehydrated foods as well, like pastas and so on. But lots of like number 10 cans with freeze-dried food in it that will last 25 years.
That is rolled oats right there.
And will taste delicious.
And it will last 20 years.
And it tastes really good.
Yeah.
Right.
It's important to rehydrate this food, right, before eating a lot of it.
Yeah, well, in fact, you're talking about rehydration. As we talked about last month, that gallon of water per person per day.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important that we have that. But if a lot of your food storage is dependent on water, make sure you've got a lot of water additionally to that.
And all the dried food is dependent on water.
Exactly.
And if you're going to be cooking with it and rehydrating things, you need at least 2 gallons per person per day, minimum, if you're going to be rehydrating.
And once you open these number 10 cans, the freeze-dried food that has the 25-year shelf life, it doesn't have that when it's opened. You have to eat that pretty quickly.
Yeah, once you open it, you could be down to as little as 1 week because that freeze-dried food, it just wants to suck the moisture right out of the air. Here in Utah, it's not as bad as some of the other more humid climates, but still, it wants to suck that humidity out of the air to rehydrate itself. So yeah, your food storage, once it's opened, has a shorter shelf life.
And you mentioned something about the pounds, I think, or something like that. We should be eating
30. You need to store about 33 pounds per person per month.
33 pounds of food. That's a combination of all the different types of food that we're talking about.
Comes out to about 400 pounds a year per person. But
is how much we
you're going
eat.
to do a 3-month storage plan for per person, about 100 pounds, a little less than 100 pounds. And if you store about 100 pounds, it'll get you through 3 months. And that's not a big space taker. That's not expensive to buy. 100 pounds can be done. And again, I'm going to go back to what Bryan said. store what you eat, store what you like. Don't store something that you're going to be choking down.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in part 2 of this episode as well, so make sure you don't miss that. But the wheat storage, we talked about this a little bit. I haven't touched my wheat storage since I put it there, but it's a good idea to open some of that up and get your grinder out and actually use that and know that I can prepare this and put it into a recipe and my body can digest it, right? So we should be using this long-term storage as well.
There's a lot of different things that you brought that up. Your body, if it's not used to using a certain kind of food, is going to react negatively if it's not used to using that. So that's another good reason to use from your long-term food storage. So your body's used to doing those kind of things. So for your body, but then also for your mind, learn how to do it. Can I do this? This is stuff that my great grandma used to do.
Exactly.
But a lot of those things we don't know how to do. So learn how to do it now when it's a not stressful
Right.
situation.
Don't wait for the emergency.
And realize it does have a 20-year shelf life. You've got to use it sometime during that 20 years. When my parents moved out of their house, we threw away hundreds of pounds of grains that were over 20 years old that they just stuck down there and not used.
And
use
then it
this.
is a waste of money.
It's a waste of money. Use this stuff. And Wade was very, very correct, Mick and Brian. Make sure you can live on it. It won't have a negative effect on your body.
Well, that brings up another thing. If somebody's allergic to wheat
Yep.
and you don't know it, that's a very bad
Yep.
time to find out.
Gluten, celiac disease, peanuts. That's something we haven't talked a lot about. Nuts, but yeah, make sure you don't have any foods that you have allergies to in your storage. Obviously, common sense there. All right, we are about out of time on this one. So again, go to our YouTube channel at Be Ready Utah YouTube channel, our Facebook page. Watch all these Be Ready Utah PrepCasts at Be Ready Utah, #BRU PrepCast. Please give us your questions on the comments there. You can give us questions. We can try to address these. And then don't miss our next episode, part 2 of food storage. So thank you very much.